This adorable fabric box project is perfect for organizing small items or gifting something special. It's a fun and functional design that uses just two layer cake fabric squares, a bit of batting, and it combines both a machine embroidery and a sewing machine. What makes this project a tiny bit more advanced is that it requires a magnetic embroidery hoop to quilt the top. So you'll also need a sewing machine to assemble the box after the embroidery panels are complete. So if you're ready to take your in the hoop skills up a notch, this project is for you. This is the hoop I am using with this project to do the top quilting. My machine is a baby lock, so I'm able to use it and it works pretty well. And so this is an 8 by 12 inch magnetic hoop. So again, it is called the Jumbo Metal Magnetic Hoop for Brother Baby Lock Embroidery Machine. And I'm not exactly sure who makes this, but it's just on Amazon. So this project requires two 10-inch by 10-inch pieces of fabric. So this is perfect for layer cake fabric, and a large batting piece. And I use excess batting because when I move it on my magnetic embroidery hoop, I like to make it as tight as possible so that it reaches all of the edges of it. So that's why this is extra big. So what you're gonna do is put your batting on the bottom, grab your top piece, just lay it in the center. Try to get it as straight as possible. And then what I do is I just grab some pins and just pin it into place. So this design does come with two top stitches. The first top stitch is the heart one. So for example, this is my heart one. So you can see that there's hearts that go around it. The one I'm going to do for this one is the star one. So I'm going to finish pinning this, and then I'll show you how I put it on my magnetic embroidery hoop. Here's my magnetic embroidery hoop. So I like to just line it up with my, line it up here at the top. And then what I'm gonna do is take my batting piece with my top fabric and just lay it like so. And I like to see where it's gonna stitch. So I just like to put this top one down. So let's see here. To be honest, that's probably fine. So what I'll probably do is move it around in my machine. I'm gonna make sure that my sides are nice and straight, because that's really important. Okay, it looks pretty straight. All right. And I just wanna make sure that, because it's gonna be, yep, so it's gonna stitch about right to here. So I'm gonna move my design down. Well, it'll be in the center, and I'll have to move it down so that everything stitches in here. But that looks good. Then what I'm gonna do is grab my magnets and just place the magnets around my hoop. After I do this, I'm gonna take it to the machine and run the first hoop, which will do the top part. There we go. That looks good. So now I just gotta place it correctly. And so what I'm gonna do is just figure out where it is right now, how far off I am. Okay, so I'm gonna hit close right here, and I'm gonna move it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna lay that down there because, oh, that's pretty good. And then I wanna see how, okay, so see, I'm pretty off there. So there's about a 1/2 inch. That means I have to move it this way. Okay, I would say that's pretty good. Let me try the perfect. Okay, so then I'll go to this side now. That looks really good. Okay, maybe that actually looks really good. And then in the center, and then down, and then it'll only stitch to about right there. And the first stitch will actually be these corners. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit close, and I'm actually going to move my needle where the first stitch is. That way I can make sure that I am not gonna hit my pins, because I have to take the pins out while I embroider. To do that, we're going to take off our magnets. And shift it up. And this is why I like extra fabric at the bottom, is because I want to be able to place magnets there. I'm just going to shift it up. This is why this design is a little more complicated. It's because you are moving your design around and you want to make sure that it's pretty straight. So I'm going to make sure that's straight. Okay. All right. And so then I'm going to grab this and see roughly where it is. You see how it's pretty much at the bottom? I might have to move it up a little bit more, in fact. Okay. There we go. At that point, I think I'm good. Yes, okay. I just want to make sure that I'm kind of straight though, too. So I'm going to use my grid. It's pretty straight. Okay. And so then I use my magnets again. And then I take it to my machine. Just like before, we have to see that the design is where it needs to be. It's a little low, which could be a problem. What we're gonna do is actually move it up, because we have to have the bottom perfect, because that's where we stitch it. So what I'm gonna do is just move it up. That way we get the perfect square stitch. It might overlap a little bit. Okay, that looks good. All right, so hopefully it stitches in between my stars if I lined it up right. But that looks good. I wanna go back to the side real quick. Okay, I'm actually gonna move it again this way. Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. Center. Okay, I'm gonna try to move it 2 times. There you go. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back here. Looks good. Looks good. All right, I'm gonna hit close, and then I'm gonna figure out where my first stitch is. So I'm hitting plus, and we are gonna do our very first stitch. It stitched out beautifully. Let me give you a tip, okay? So that, because these overlap, so you'll see that your machine will kind of overlap. So what I suggest you do is always have this corner and the center here aligned perfectly with your fabric piece on your machine. And then when you switch it, have this corner, and the center aligned perfectly with your machine. So now I'm gonna remove this from the hoop, and I'm gonna cut off the excess batting. Now we have to align up the liner with this fabric piece because we have to cut off these squares. So I suggest getting clips like so. And I like to cut along on this side because like it's easier for me to see the white stitches. So what I'm gonna do is gonna go like flip it over here. And it really doesn't matter if it's right side or wrong side up because they're not actually gonna be stitched together this way. So I'm just gonna line up the corners so that they match. And you'll see that there is some shrinkage just because you did quilt the top. So I just try to get to the center as much as possible. And then what I'm gonna do is put clips all around it. Grab sharp scissors and you're just gonna cut out along this line right here and this line right here. So just like so. And as you can see, I've cut the exterior piece with the batting and the liner piece, and you can discard this. Now I'm gonna do the other three corners. Unclip the pieces. And now you will have two cut pieces. This is the exterior and this is the liner. And from here on out, we're going to use our sewing machine. Push your liner to the side and we'll come back to that later and grab your exterior fabric piece. Make an X, so just turn it around like that. Grab your clips and right sides together, fold it over like so, and just line up the edges. Take it to your sewing machine and you're gonna start stitching here, do a back stitch and then stitch down, stitch down, stitch down, back stitch, and then keep going. And then same thing with this side right here. So you're doing these two sides only. You're not sewing the V or right here. Oh, take the clips off and open it up. And now we are going to align these two seams, just like so, and clip the top. We're gonna take it to the sewing machine and we're gonna stitch this side and this side. Take out the clips and turn the bag inside out like so. Poke out those corners and then put this to the side. Grab your lining piece and like before, turn it over so it's like an X. Right sides facing each other, bend them in so the wrong side is facing out, and clip, align and clip. We are gonna, like before, sew this shut right here. And then for this side, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start and stitch a few and then back stitch. Not stitch about this wide or this length right here. So we're gonna leave this unstitched so that it's a hole, and then just stitch again right here, like down and back stitch. And so, like I said, it's really important that we have this gap right here so we can turn it inside out. This side will be completely stitched. All right, so I just sewn this entire edge right here, and I sewed this edge, but I kept a gap just like that. So like before, we are going to basically match up the seams like we did with the external piece. And then we are going to stitch the sides. Just like so. Okay, so I'm going to take it over to the machine. I'm going to stitch this entire side right here and this entire side right here. Take the clips off, and we're going to leave the wrong side out. Okay, so this is the right side in. This is the liner piece. So here's the liner, wrong side facing out. Here's the external piece, right side facing out. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to stuff this piece in here just like so. And you're going to line up the seams and clip them. All right, so what I'm going to do is take it to the machine, and I'm going to stitch a 1/4 seam allowance around this entire top piece right here. So I stitched all around it. So now you're gonna find that hole, that gaping hole right here. And what you're gonna do is you are going to grab the exterior fabric and just pull it through gently. Take your time here. Hopefully you've given yourself enough space to gently push it through. And then put your fingers through the hole and punch out those corners. Just like so. And punch out the corners up here. Looks good. So now you have this hole right here. You can fabric glue it shut, or you can hand sew it. I am going to use my machine, and what I'm going to do is just fold in the raw edges and use my sewing machine. All right, so then we're just gonna put the liner back inside, punch it down just like so, and you are all done with your fabric tiny box. Now, you can do a top stitch right here if you want. So from the top, just go around like so, but I'm not going to. And honestly, these are so cute. They are darling. Right here is my heart one. The heart is a bean stitch, so you can see it stands out more. And this one is a star stitch, so it is just a single stitch right there. So it kind of gives you two different designs to choose from. It is super cute. And again, you can just put you can fill these up with sewing crafts, or you can give them away as gifts. You can even personalize them if you want. You could put a name here. So it's super cute. They are fun and easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy, but they are fun to do. Thanks for watching. This design is free on my Patreon. Check the link below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more creative fun.